everybody's services and time each week of the season. The culmination here in Eugene. And a 3rd down and 2, a first down run for James.
Up over 160 yards rushing now for the Ducks with a whole quarter left to play.
James already with his 3rd multi-touchdown game of the season to go up of 98 yards on 15 carries. Whittington has come in with 7 carries, 57 yards on the touchdown. Gabriel with a rushing and passing touchdown as well. That's the 27th time he's done that in his illustrious career as Whittington finds the open space for 5. It's an Oregon team that has just been so complete. It's almost hard to fathom it's been the same season as the way it started for them, with those first 2 weeks that were struggles out of the gate here at home against Idaho. They had to fight their way to victory. Then Boise State. Another completion for Gabriel in stride. It's going to go to Whittington as a pile drives forward, and we go to KT.
Well, guys, the reason for the Ducks' continued team success this season is their trust in one another. Dylan Gabriel told me since January, we've done a bunch of mixed teams. I've probably worked with every combination you put together of running backs, O-linemen, receivers, tight ends. It forced older guys to lead, younger guys to line up and get ready faster. He goes, I've gotten reps with guys that may not have even played this year, but if they're called upon, we trust and we believe in them.
Yeah, and the main reason for that is the way Derek Harmon described it to us was, if you know your brother's why, if you know the person's next to you why, it makes it a little bit easier to strain a little bit extra for them, to block a little bit longer for them, do all the little things that add up to team success.
Well, and that's very important for Dan Lanning, because connection is their #1 thing with this team.
Gabriel up the middle, and he gets kind of twisted up for the first down.
And they brought a lot of guys, significant guys in from the transfer portal. Gabriel, one of them. Guys that have only been together for 6 months, and yet they play like a very cohesive unit.
Wasn't thrilled with that hit from Mikel Esteen. Dylan Gabriel's never played in this rivalry before. He's played in a couple other ones, but he did mention the excitement he had and how much he wanted to win this for all the guys who hadn't won the last 2 years. You can see that in the way that he's played. He's brought that fire again today. Gabriel, incomplete. That's a dangerous pass, and there is the flag. Esteen, who laid the hit on Gabriel on the last play, this time here for the team over individual, and he feels like that's the group he has really in all 3 facets of the game this season. As Gabriel off play action. Oh, a bullet to the end zone for the touchdown. Terrence Ferguson. Beautiful ball, beautiful catch to tie the record.
Coming out of the timeout, they had this one dialed up. These 2 guys are on such a great, same page. I mean, they're great friends. Their fiancés are very good friends, and you can just tell the chemistry they have. Terrence Ferguson, one of those veteran guys that this game and this rivalry meant a lot to.
Yep. He didn't mince any words himself. He talked about how much he wanted to beat Washington coming back this year. He was a red zone monster last year with 11 red zone receptions, #1 amongst tight ends. Now Andrew Boyle will put the extra point through to make it 42-14.
Well, it's a bootleg action, so the fake is going to go to the right. Here's Ferguson here. The action is going to start this way, and then Gabriel is going to come out. So watch the hesitation by Ferguson. He doesn't come flying off the ball. Slow, 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 and then he works to the back, and that timed out with his quarterback. Because he didn't rush it, they were in perfect sync, and they hit the touchdown.
Let's send it down to Catherine.
Well, guys, I talked to Terrence Ferguson just this week about his record-breaking season. He said, you know, I've looked back at my time here, and it's just flown by. I'm so blessed. I don't try to look at the records. We have young guys that I think are way better than I am, and they're going to be better than me when their time is up. And I just hope someone else comes around and breaks my records. And that's the perspective that he has. That is the team mentality we have from this whole group. You guys talk about the connections and the connection between Ferguson and Dylan, and just the perspective they have to win every single week, guys.
The funny thing with Ferguson is he's had all these touchdowns in his career. That's his second now touchdown of the season. Well, the second in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It took him until a couple weeks ago to get one. And that same game, there was an offensive lineman who scored a touchdown. When we asked him about that, he was like, yeah, there was a chat in the tight end room, almost a joke of, oh, wait, there might be a big man touchdown before we get one of them. And it got real close, real dicey there. But sure enough, Ferguson with the score, and Oregon pouring it on now against their rival. And Gata spinning his way to the 30 and keeping the legs churning across to the 32 as we check in with Jordan Cornette.
Texas looking to build, leading 17-0 over the Aggies on the road. And Quinn Ewers, it's tipped, it's picked. Will Lee III goes 93 yards. A hold penalty on the Horns would be declined. Aggies with a pulse, trailing 17-7 now, Noah.
Yeah, that changes things a little bit. Let's not forget, at College Station as well. That is a really difficult place to play, as is this. And we've seen that Oregon has been dominant at Autzen Stadium over the last couple of seasons. In fact, the only team that has beaten them over the last few years has been Washington. They won 37-38 in this building, and they're going to add another one. It's a sack attack in Eugene. Tatum Tuioti.
Well, Tuioti is going to go on an inside move, but he doesn't give up on the play. This is that relentless effort. Watch, he takes an inside rush. Williams goes outside, but he doesn't give up on the play and is able to track him down. Nobody open, receivers running into each other, nowhere to go for Damon Williams, and another sack, the 10th of the ball game for this Duck defense.
Ties the single game score record. They did it in 2004 at Stanford. Williams around the edge, spilled forward, maybe gets a yard past that original line of scrimmage. Cam Alexander chops him down. Well, for Damon Williams, he's had some bright moments, 13 of 15, but Dan Lanning knew that it was going to be a challenge going against this young and talented quarterback. He knew that his team was going to be motivated. Will Rogers has been allegedly and apparently nothing but fantastic for Damon Williams, both through the season and even in this past week as they battled to start this game. And we'll see if the freshman has some more magic up his sleeve on a 3rd and 9. Muhammad in there, Jackson in motion. Williams to Jackson, but well short and well covered.
Well, if you don't need to know anything else numbers-wise about this game than this. Oregon, their sacks have accounted for 49 yards of loss, and Washington running the football only 30 yards gained. So, I mean, it's just the inability to protect the quarterback. Even a guy as elusive as Damon Williams is, just hard to do much. I mean, Williams is 14 of 16 throwing the ball, but he's been sacked 10 times.
McAllister another punt. Kes Johnson was the normal punt returner for most of the season before the injury. He's going to have a chance here, and he'll just move out of bounds after our roommates, and so Moore really gets to see everything that Dylan does. And Dylan said he's respectful at the same time, where if Dylan needs to take time, be quiet, study, he leaves him alone.
Yeah. And he's prepared every week as if he's a starter, which you want your backup to do, but it's not always the case. A guy doesn't always do that, especially if he's not expecting to play.
With the throw again to the outside, it is caught. Brought in by McClellan. Been such a difficult guard for anybody through the year. Showcased again here tonight. Another quick completion to the outside, and Kenyon Sadiq lowers the shoulder for a couple extra at the end.
Well, you can see the skill set of Dante Moore. Quick release, accurate. 3 for 3 now.
One thing Dylan Gabriel said to us when we asked about him was it's sometimes so hard for these kids who are 5-star recruits because they've had so much attention on them for such a young age, and the expectation is that you're going to go in and you're going to be a major factor or you're going to be a superstar right away. This doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes you need the time to develop in the shadows, and that's what Moore has really taken this season under Dan Lanning, learning under Will Stein, and certainly learning behind Gabriel himself. Good clean pocket here, and that is a beautiful ball just dropped Holden had it in the right spot. It was a tough catch to make, but a flag is down.
Holding. Defense. Number 7. 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Automatic. First down.
He's showing off now, Todd.
Yeah. Well, there's the hold on Prysock.
Look at Jerry McGinn. Ready for his spotlight moment. Another run. Riggs over the top and a flag down. Another exciting announcement. Past the midway point of this fourth quarter. Impressive reps from Moore and company. That was actually the plan for Damon Williams this year. He wasn't necessarily supposed to start any games coming into the season. Jed Fish said, okay, maybe get him 10 to 15 snaps a game. You get 180 snaps by the end of the season, and you're in good shape.
Personal foul. Illegal low block. Defense. Number 13. 15-yard penalty added on an end run. Automatic. First down.
So they called on Fabiculanen. Let's take a look to see if that's who was actually on. And you can see Cam Fab.
28.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, there it is right there. Kamari House, the freshman.
Couple of mistakes from House today, but Jed Fish called him one of those program building blocks moving forward. House, along with Damon Williams and Adam Muhammad, Decker DeGraff, Peyton Waters, the guys they believe are going to set the foundation for what this is going to look like. And when they start plugging some of the holes, again, this is a roster that had major turnover from last season. Riggs, tough running. Gabriel helmet now off, day done. The Washington defense that held UCLA to just 52 rushing yards in their last game, a season low for a Washington opponent. 1.6 yards per carry. It has been a different story here tonight.
Yeah, Oregon about to become the third team that's run for over 200 yards against this team, joining Iowa and Penn State.
Weak in motion, handoff up the middle, and Riggs will keep pushing. It'll be first and goal.
This Oregon team with moving under 6 minutes left in the game will begin to set its sights on Indianapolis and Penn State, a team that is also playing excellent football right now. Down the stretch, Penn State defensively very aggressive, very similar to this defensive football team and how aggressive they are, how they can rush the passer. Offensively, Drew Aller playing really well.
Play. Personal foul. Offense. Number 76. Unnecessary roughness. 15-yard penalty. Third down.
It's Josh Connerly.
On Fabiculanen right there. First grabbed at the arm and then took a swipe towards the face.
It was a dead ball foul. It'll be a first down. First and 15. First and 10. After the 15-yard penalty.
Well, seems a little petty to me, actually,
but anyway, to your point, Penn State, the other thing that feels interesting, the only difference between Penn State and Oregon is the one loss for the Nittany Lions. But similarly to Oregon, they've had to claw their way through a couple of those wins. At USC last week against Minnesota, games where they needed to find a way when they weren't playing at their top level.
Yep. And it'll be interesting to see the plan that Dan Lanning, Tosh Lapoy come up with to deal with Tyler Warren, who's one of the most unique players in college football.
Run. Riggs to the outside. Diving. He's short. Thaddeus Dixon just does enough to keep him out of the end zone.
Check out the end of this play. Dixon there. Prysot coming over to try to help.
Defense, number 9.
Dixon's a little slow to get up initially and goes over to the sideline. That'll be first and goal for Dante Moore's Oregon offense. Another extended drive. This will be the 9th play. That opening drive went 9 plays for Oregon down the field before the Whittington touchdown. Now 224 rush yards. It's Riggs again, and this time he's in. Touchdown Ducks. First career touchdown for Dewan Riggs.
A great double team by the center, Poncho, the left guard, Nishad Strother. Just ran right behind these two guys right here. Watch the double team. On number 50, Sebastian Valdez. Back cuts right inside, and another power touchdown for the Oregon offense.
This is what Dan Lanning loves about this team. When guys who don't normally get opportunities or touches in those situations find those opportunities, the rest of the team always seems to respond in the right way, in a positive way. This is an extra point from Hirsch today. And in Athens yesterday, there have been some great games through the weekend. And we'll see how it all leads into the conference championship. It was always a big deal to win your conference championship game, obviously, and especially if you were in the hunt for the college football playoff the last couple of years. But just given the new format, the fact that you can get a bye with that win, it just feels like they're going to mean a little bit extra for some of these teams, especially those like a Boise State and Arizona State, as Coleman stays in there along with Williams as we send it down to KT.
Well, Terrence Ferguson told me that playing in the Big Ten Championship was something Oregon expected, not in an arrogant way, he said, but in a confident way. He said Coach Lanning preached that we're going to switch up the power dynamic. We knew that from day one. That was our goal, to impose our will and have the Big Ten remember us and set the standard for years to come that we are a part of this conference. I think they've done that, guys.
Yeah, KT, the other thing that they really wanted to do was prove how physical they've been for years. They feel like they've almost been devalued in that category. And to your point, Todd, this defense that today especially showcased how physical they've been all season. As Williams backwards pass, that was really impressive to avoid the fumble by Jonah Coleman.
Yeah, I think their physicality is legit. I mean, they are a tough, physical team that flies around. They play with great effort. They got a couple guys back that had been out. Jordan Birch on defense, Tez Johnson on offense. They're still waiting to get their starting right guard, Marcus Harper, back potentially for next week.
Another 3rd and long. Washington 4 for 11 tonight on 3rd down. Williams quickly to Muhammad on the outside. And he'll get free, but not for enough. It'll be 4th and 1.
Oregon not only going for a Big Ten championship, I mean, obviously their goal, their ultimate goal, a national championship, trying to win the first national championship in school history, become the first time program winning a national championship since Florida did it in 1996.
Which that was crazy when I saw that stat. It's been that long since we've had a first-time champion.
Yep.
Got close 2010, 2014, played for an undefeated season in 2010 as they'll go for it. Washington will on 4th down and get it with Muhammad on the outside.
You know, and for Washington, I think it's important to note and interesting to note for Jed Fish, they're bowl eligible. That happened last week against UCLA. What does that mean? That means 15 more days of practice for Jed Fish and his staff and a lot of these young players. 15 more days of camaraderie and guys being in the locker room together. The early signing period happens soon. The transfer portal opens soon. And it's a good way to kind of keep your your finger on the pulse of your team and your roster as you go through these next couple of weeks.
You said it's huge, and if you don't get those 15 practices, it feels like you're constantly playing catch-up the next season. It'll be the final play before the 2-minute timeout. It's going to be a run to Muhammad up the middle, across the 35-yard line to the 34.5 corner from Sweet Caroline with 2 minutes remaining. As the crowd's begun to shuffle out just a tad, Damon Williams and company will look to finish this drive. It's a 2nd down and 4. Williams gets away. Nice evasive play by Williams as he gets slid out of bounds.
Well, there's no question that Damon Williams has a bright future with Jetfish in Washington. He has shown some talent tonight. I mean, clearly up against the best team in the country. And he is, but he's put up good numbers other than the sacks, which some are on him, some are on the line.
That one gets batted down. Oregon, one of the best in the country at batting passes at the line. I also got to give Damon Williams credit. He's an Arizona kid going short sleeves in this weather. Football guy. Minute 50 left here. Oregon with 3 crushing losses the last 2 years. You see the 17 batted passes at the line, second most among Power 4 teams. The 3 crushing losses over the last 2 seasons to this Washington program, all by 3 points. And we're a minute 50 away from completing a perfect regular season. Williams lets it fly, open for the touchdown. Giles Jackson put it in the bucket for the score.
Well, this is really well executed. They're going to roll the quarterback outright. And Giles Jackson is starting right here. And he's going to work all his way to the back of the end zone. That's where he was looking all the way. But the action away left single coverage. Yes, there's backups in the game defensively for Oregon. But this is a pretty play executed to perfection by the freshman quarterback, Damon Williams.
4th passing touchdown for Williams. 3rd receiving touchdown on the season for Giles Jackson. And Gross's extra point makes it 49-21 with a minute 43 to play.
Has his team ranked #1 heading to the college football playoff and the Big Ten championship next week.
Don't miss the 2025 Navy All-American Bowl, January 11th on NBC and Peacock. A couple players in this game that were All-American Bowl alums. Mateo Uyunglele being one of them. Jordan James, Damon Williams, Josh Connerly, all played. A lot of talent every year in that game. And we'll have all the action, again, January 11th on NBC and Peacock. For Washington, Damon Williams did plenty of good. 17 of 20, 201 yards, a touchdown. Ran the ball 22 times. A lot of those came with sacks as Dante Moore kneels this one down, and it will set up the Big Ten Championship December 7th from Indy. First meeting since the '95 Rose Bowl between Penn State and Oregon.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, it's a good matchup. 2 teams playing really good football right now. That thing at the bottom is very important. The winner of that game will receive a first-round bye in the college football playoff, a chance to get an extra rest, 1 less game. The consolation prize, which isn't horrible, is whoever loses that game will host a first-round playoff game, which is one of the new things this year with the 12 teams, which I think is going to be awesome, having home playoff games in that first round. But the bye is better.
That game will be on CBS next weekend. Dillon Gabriel said he was going to savor this year's senior day and senior night festivities a lot more than he did last year at Oklahoma. This is going to be a memorable one for him to lead his Ducks to a perfect regular season. We'll get one final kneel down from Dante Moore. And that'll do it. 12 games, 12 wins for Dan Lanning. And one final checklist item taken off the list. They beat Washington for the first time in the Lanning era, and their first undefeated regular season since 2010. The Ducks win it 49.